Let's get started with the pranam mantras. Om Agyan, please sing with me. Om Agyanatimirandhasya Gyananjan Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapad-kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatamritam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadvitam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Shri Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vanshakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you for joining us today for this Sunday feast class. And Charanamaya Prabhu, if you can put the deck there. I'll be using a PowerPoint slide today. And all right, so imaging and the text that I have used have been used by the permission of BBT. Can we refer to that? And Charanamaya Prabhu, I need some help. Okay, good. Here we go. I'm okay with the. I know I'm okay with the fan. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for checking, Shamlangi. Okay, so first and foremost, I'd like to acknowledge His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, who translated the scriptures into English, without which I would have not had any idea about our culture and what Vaishnavism is. I'd also like to acknowledge my spiritual master, His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu, who has been guiding me for the last 15 years. Also to my Shiksha Guru, Shivas Pandit Das, who taught me how to read Srila Prabhupada's books scrutinizingly. Also like to thank Sri Gopal Das Prabhu and Hanse Premataji, who did the schedule and gave me this nice opportunity to speak on Mother's Day on Mothers. And also last but not the least, to my Prabhu, Rakesh, who always adjusts his lifestyle to according to all these seva opportunities that I get. So thank you for that. So today I am going to talk about mothers. I'm going to glorify Mother. And so I wanted to start with wishing you all a very happy Mother's Day, because if somebody is in this earth, there has to be some sort of a mother behind it. So I have collected some statistics on mothers. And so the world population today is 8.22 billion. And there are 2 billion mothers in this world. 85.4 of them are in USA. And the rate at which the babies are being born is 4.2, so you're getting some mothers, sometimes new. And actually, it came down. It used to be 4.3, so it's coming down, and we generally see that trend also, right? So a little bit on the history of the Mother's Day. We have celebrated it. at least when I grew up, there was no such thing as a Mother's Day, quote unquote, so it caught on a little later. And so it started on Sunday, May 10th, in the year 1908, when a lady by the name of Anna Jarvis, she wanted to glorify her mother, who had died, and her mother was fond of pink incarnation, so she had organized a memorial service for her mother, and she wore a pink incarnation for that. Then a few years later, it was actually in 6 years, that President Woodrow Wilson, he declared Mother's Day. It was in 1914 that the second Sunday in May will be celebrated as a Mother's Day. I'm getting a little feedback here. And from there, actually, the concept of Mother's Day has spread across the world and also across the calendar. So it's not just celebrated on this second Sunday throughout the world, like in some of the Scandinavian countries. It's celebrated in the second Sunday in February. So Mother's Day comes much sooner than what we would think. In most of the Arabian countries, it goes by the name Yom ul from Amma, right? And so it's celebrated on March 21st. Indonesia, it goes all the way to December, that late in the year. The most popular definitely is the second Sunday in May, and as you can see, there are so many countries that follow Mother's Day on this day. So on Mother's Day, you remember Anna Jarvis had worn a pink incarnation for her mother's memorial. And from there, this concept and this tradition of bringing flowers for the mother started. And so Society for American Florists tells us that Mother's Day ranks just a little under Christmas and Hanukkah, and this is the largest flower holiday in USA. And it accounts for about 24% of for the flowers that are sent. And actually, it beats Valentine's Day, so that's good. You know, mothers still are rocking there. So just to check your attention. What percentage of the world's population is mothers? We did go through some statistics, if you remember. There are how many billion? How many billion is the population? Thank you for bringing the microphones, Charin and Maipur. 2 million mothers. 2 billion mothers. And how much was the population? 8, right? Yeah. So if we roughly make it 8 and 2, how much is that? Some quick math. 2 by 8 is how much? 1/4, right? Someone for Shamlangi, and for 25%, that's the correct answer. So when I talk about mothers and Mother's Day, this poem that I read when I was a young kid in 6th grade. So it's a poem by Alfred Lord Tennyson, and a Britisher. And the poem is called Home They Brought Her Warrior Dead. So there was this couple very devoted to each other, and the husband was in the army. And so there was a war, and he went to the war. And when people go to the war, there's a chance that there can be some death there, right? And that's why in the beginning of Mahabharata, Arjuna was talking a lot in chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita about the consequences of war and how people are going to die, right? So unfortunately, the person died, and they brought his dead body to her home. And she was so shocked, beyond wits. And we see that also in Mahabharata when Abhimanyu dies and they bring the body to the place, the camp where they was. Uttara, her wife, for a long time would not even accept that the husband had died. And so they brought the body, and she was completely stuck. So home they brought her warrior dead. She nor swoon nor utter cry. All her maidens watching said, she must weep or she will die. Then they praised him soft and low, called him worthy to be loved, truest friend and noblest foe, yet she neither spoke nor moved. Stole a maiden from her place, lightly to the warrior stepped, took the face cloth from his face, yet she neither moved nor wept. I mean, normally people, when they see their face, they'll start, but she was too stunned to even do that. Rose a nurse of 90 years, set his child upon her knee. Like summer tempest came the tears, sweet my child, I live for thee. So, question. How do you feel? Which color? Pink? Blue and pink? Okay. So when we hear of mother's love for the child, it always brings tears to our eyes, right? So now when we talk about mothers, which word comes to your mind when I say the word mother? Some words come to your mind? No words come to your mind? Okay, please pick up the word.
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice, that's very good.
Service.
Service. Care.
Selflessness.
Selflessness. Unconditional love, says Archana Mataji from the back. Right? So there are, mothers are known for love. And Srila Prabhupada tells us that the love a mother has for her child, unconditional love, as Archana Mataji said, is the closest that you can get to, selfless love for Krishna, understanding what Krishna's love is for us. That's the closest you can get to, is to understand the love a mother has in this material world. Right? So that's the best and the highest you get to. So characteristics of a good mother. So a mother operates in certain areas. So one is that she sets the emotional foundations for the child, right? Unconditional love, is topmost there. And empathy and emotional intelligence, with the child. Patience. How many agree? Your mothers have been patient with you? Only 2 hands raised? Okay, and then mental and physical strength she'll give, right? So adaptability, problem solving, right? As kids, you just go to their mom, you blurt out your problem and you go to sleep. Now it's the mom's problem, right? And then encouragement and support so many times, right? You can do it. The child falls down, you can do it. I'm sure you'll do it. You are the best. Don't worry about the bullies in the school. You are my favorite, right? The mom will give encouragement and support. She'll have a sense of humor, laugh off, things. And then, of course, physical strength comes from prasadam. Right? So it's also a duty of the mom to make sure that the child is given the right kind of nutritious food. Then moral and social guidance, that's also comes from the mom, or is the responsibility of the mom to teach by example, integrity and respect. Also discipline, but then also have compassion. Don't be too hard that the child breaks. And then open-mindedness as the child struggles through the age, right? Especially the teenage there. So we'll look at the scriptures and look at some of the famous mothers. So Devaki, of course, all of you all know Devaki. So Devaki always becomes the mother of Krishna. When Krishna comes here, incarnates and comes into this world, Devaki, who is known as, her other name is also Prishni, and Vasudev, whose other name is also Sutapa, they both come. And they prayed for many, many years. How many years did they pray and do tapasya to get Krishna as their child? 1 year, 2 year, 10, 100, 500, how many? Thousands of years, 10,000. So prayed for 10,000 years to get, and then to become the parents of Krishna. And then what do they get, right? They are thrown into the prison, right? Kansa is very unhappy because of the Akashvani that happened, that the prediction that came that her 8th child is going to kill Kamsa. So they are put in the jail. All her children are killed. She just goes through that. And every time she goes through that, right, when Krishna will incarnate, this pastime is going to repeat. And so Devaki suffered a lot being the mother of Krishna. And then later on, when the Mahabharata was fought, and then Krishna goes and stays in Dwarka, then they are united again, and Krishna lives with the mom and dad there. The other famous mother is Yashoda, who was foster mother of Krishna, and so we know of the amazing pastime, like Bhagavatam 10th canto talks a lot about these pastimes, and so we hear about how Yashoda is so worried about Krishna, that Krishna is not eating properly. And we see that a lot of us as mothers also always think that, even if the child has eaten a nice diet, we still think that the child is hungry, the child is not eating properly, the child is not being fed properly. So that's a trait of the mother. Mothers are like that. Their heart is so full of love, they're always worried about Krishna. And as we read the pastimes in Bhagavatam, we see how she was always praying for Krishna. And all these demons come, the car demon comes, the tornado demon comes, and Krishna is miraculously saved, Kaliya demons, so many pastimes are there. And she goes and prays to almost everybody, because she doesn't realize that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. She's always afraid he's going to die. And so she will get, a cow dung, and she'll chant incantation, she'll chant mantras and whisk, a yak tail, whisk, everything she'll try to do to, ward off the evil from Krishna. So that's what moms do, because they're always worried about. And when Krishna goes, in the morning when Krishna gets up, she will make sure that Krishna eats the breakfast. And then Krishna goes out with his friends to play in the forest. And then she will say, she'll pack the lunch. And then she will think that, he's going to play. And he's going to forget lunch. Now, how many of you have kids who brought back lunch? Right? See, they do that, so she knows. And so that's why she's worried. And she says that, he's not going to eat. So let me do one thing. It's like, hey, Krishna, come back here. You eat this lunch also. So, poor Krishna will eat that also. Then she'll pack some more. And then she'll tell all his friends that, just make sure that he eats. And then even in the evening, if they're playing, she'll keep on calling, Krishna, come here, have food. Your father is eating food. Come and eat food all the time. And then Krishna, like boys don't like it when their moms do that, right? Especially in public. And so because they're going to call him mama's boy. Right? And she doesn't like that. So he won't go, but then finally he will listen to Yashoda, and then he'll go, and then of course next day his friends are going to tease him. So that's this nice loving exchange that keeps on happening with Mother Yashoda and Krishna. Then also among the famous mothers is Sachi Mata. Who is Sachi Mata? Anyone wants to take the microphone and tell me?
She's the mother of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
She is the mother of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And who's the father?
Jagannath Mishra.
Jagannath Mishra. Thank you so much for that. Then we also famous is Queen Kunti, and recently we all memorized the prayers of Queen Kunti, and so we see that, and so she was a queen, and her sons had to go into the exile, and she was advanced in age. I mean, not that she was a young teenager who could just go off to the forest like that, but she followed with them. She went there. And she suffered. She was a queen, but she suffered whatever you suffer in a forest, right? She didn't have any of the luxuries that are normally awarded. And so when Krishna, this picture shows Krishna going to, Mahabharata is over, and Krishna has stayed back for a little more because so many people had died in the Mahabharata war, and Yudhishthira used to feel very bad. He thought that he was the cause of so many deaths. And so he was very melancholy, so he asked Krishna to stay back for some time. So Krishna stayed back. And then finally he's going to back to Dwarka, and Kunti is trying to stop Krishna to say, stay back for some more time. And there she's recounting all the things that Krishna did, and actually all the bad things that happened to them. And Krishna helped them in all such situations. So what were some of the situations that happened when Krishna came and helped them? Anything comes to your mind? She's saying that you have always helped us. Microphone to get 500 points.
The fire and the lack house, the Pandavas were there. And then once Bhima was given poison while he was young. Mm-hmm. And then during their stay in the forest, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I know. So, some demons, Durvasa Muni, from
Durvasa Muni came. Yeah, of course, nobody wants Durvasa Muni and nobody wants to annoy Durvasa Muni. So what happened in Durvasa Muni? What did he do? Bhagachari wants to say. Okay, yes. You can.
So when they were living in forest, and Durvasa Muni first went to Duryodhan and Duryodhan did his lot of he welcomed him in a very nice way, and then Durvasa Muni asked Duryodhan, what do you want in return? I'm very happy with your service. So Duryodhan asked him to go to the Yudhishthira and Pandavas. So he asked in a way that he's giving it's nice for Pandavas, but in his mind he know that they cannot afford Durvasa Muni, and like they cannot serve him well, so he want Durvasa Muni to go to Pandavas, and then Durvasa Muni goes to Pandavas, and by the time he reaches with his many of his disciples, Draupadi,
How many were there?
I think
60,000.
So
Imagine 60,000 people come to your home for cooking, for lunch.
yeah, and so they all feel very stressed, and Draupadi is crying, crying for help to Krishna, and then Krishna comes for the help.
And how does Krishna help?
So when Krishna comes, he actually asks for Draupadi, like he's hungry and he needs food, and they were already worried how to feed Durvasa and his disciples. But then Krishna says, no, I know you have food, you give me food. And then Draupadi says, I really don't have, I already ate my dinner, and it's all clean. They had Akshay Patra for the food, so, and then Krishna just tells her to get her Akshay Patra, and then Draupadi brings it, and he just eats a little morsel on the plate, and then he fills it full with that little morsel, and then once he feels full, he asks Bhima to go and call Durvasa Muni and his disciples, and then when the Pandavas still don't know how they are going to feed them, but then because Krishna is saying, Bhima just goes and he sees that all the Durvasa Muni and their disciples are all actually full and they cannot eat anything, and they just run away because Bhima is coming. So that's how Krishna saves them.
Saves them. Thank you so much. So what do we learn from this pastime of Krishna? What is the key takeaway point from here?
If Krishna is satisfied, you satisfy everybody.
Everybody is satisfied, right? So if Krishna is satisfied, so we'll keep that in mind this evening. That means if Krishna eats the bhoga that we offer today, we don't have to eat it. Okay, so then we'll just talk a little bit about Leela involving mothers, right? So this one was with Durvasa Muni. So of course there is the Damodar Leela. We all relish the Damodar Leela. That happens in the month of Kartik. And so Krishna was very famous, or ill-famous, for stealing butter from other people's homes. And so the gopis used to come and complain to Yashoda Mataji. And Yashoda just couldn't understand, why does my son do this? I have got servant maids. There's so much of milk, there's so much of butter in my dahi, curd, so much of that is in my yogurt, in my home. Why does he have to go and steal? Why does my son have to do that? And so she thought that maybe it's because my servants are making the yogurt and the butter, so that maybe they don't do a good job of it. So let me make it myself. So she sat down to make butter, and it's not that you just boil the milk and put it in Instapot and bingo, you have got curd the next day. That's not how she was doing it. She first got the milk from some cows whose milk is very flavorful, and then from that you will boil the milk, you will make buttermilk out of it, and you'll give it back to the cow. The cow will drink it again, and then from that, when they give the milk again, from that milk you will make the curd, and then churn it, and then you'll do that. And so while she was churning, and she was thinking about Krishna, the pastime, she was enjoying it. And it was around Diwali time, so she was also planning to make some kheer, sweet rice for Krishna. And so she was boiling the milk, because the milk was on the stove and she was sitting. And then Krishna was hungry, so Krishna came and wanted to have milk. So Yashoda started feeding Krishna. And then suddenly the milk started boiling. And when the milk started boiling, Yashoda just set aside Krishna and ran and got the milk. Now this annoyed Krishna a lot, and so Krishna went and he broke all the pots which had the butter on it. He brought in some monkeys and then distributed that with him. So when Yashoda Maiya comes back, she is very, very annoyed. because she can see the footsteps, Krishna's footsteps. He was completely covered with butter. And so she takes a rope and tries to bind him. So was she successful in binding him? No, right? So she kept on bringing more ropes, tying to tie. And there's such a beautiful pastime that Yashoda as a mother is completely forgotten that Krishna doesn't know, actually, it's because of the influence of Yog Maya, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so she's just trying to, first she runs after him. And Krishna is running ahead and she's following him. And we read about Krishna that Krishna is the fastest of the fastest, smaller than the smallest. But yet, because Yashoda is his devotee, Krishna gets and agrees to get defeated by his devotees, right? So he's caught by Yashoda. And then now she tries to tie him by a rope and the ropes are falling short. Every time she tries to do it, it falls short. By how much? 2 fingers, right? 2 fingers like that. And then ultimately she's trying and then she feels very tired and she gives up. So when she gives up and Krishna sees those tears in her eyes, and then Krishna's heart melts, and then he agrees to be bound. And so the lesson that we learned from this Leela that Krishna has with his mother is that when you do you do some endeavor and you're trying to achieve some results, right? So your endeavor is there, that's 1 finger, right? But unless you have the blessing of the Lord, which is the 2nd finger, you won't be able to achieve anything. So that's something that we also need to keep in mind, that we keep on making our endeavors, we do everything, and when we don't get the results, we're upset, right? So Krishna says, karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. You focus on doing your duty and do not think about the results of the job. Right? So that is Damodar Leela. I'm just stopping it halfway through. I mean, just Krishna, Yashoda just tied her. I mean, the rest is history. That finally he goes away with the whole mortar, and there are yamal trees, and he breaks those down, and then Nalkuvar and Manigriv, they get liberated like that. Then we also have Brahma Vimohana Leela, where there is a role of mothers, but in a very different way. So in Brahma Vimohan, Brahma gets completely bewildered when he sees Krishna, and he thinks like, is he the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a little 4 or 5 years old boy? And Krishna is out with his friends and with the cows and calves, with the calves actually. Krishna, when he was 5 years old, was not allowed to tend to cows because cows are big. So he was only allowed to take the calves out. So he and his friends are out in the forest and they are playing, and the calves are grazing and everybody's happy. Then what Brahma does is Brahma takes the cowherd boys as well as the calves, and he hides them in some caves. And so when Krishna comes back, and he sees that, all his friends are gone, all the calves are gone, and then he understands, because he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's in everybody's heart, so he's in the heart of Brahma as well. So he knows what's going on. That is a dangerous thing, isn't it? So we have to be careful of what's going on in our heart. So then what Krishna does is, by his potency, he creates the same number of calves and the same number of cowboys, and they play, and then they go back home. And when they go back home, it is said that it was 1 year this happened, right? It was 1 year till Brahma, lives on a different time scale. So for Brahma, it was a very short period of time, but here on this planet, 1 year had passed. And it's later on that, Brahma feels sad, and then, he begs pardon and all that, right? So that's what you're seeing there. Brahma is begging pardon of Krishna. But it is mentioned that during that 1 year, when those artificial, or so not artificial, actually I shouldn't call them artificial because they were expansions of Krishna, but the so-called children and the so-called calves, they were loved even more by the mothers, respectively, which is a cow, and then of course the gopis which are there. So, and the reason for that is that a mother might love a child as much as we see, and we saw so many indications, so many examples of that, but the love a soul has got for the Supreme Personality of Godhead is just beyond everything, right? So when Supreme Personality of Godhead himself comes into the house in the guise of a calf or in the guise of a cowherd boy, the mothers, even though they don't know it, but the natural instinct is there. So we have to remember that we are wired like that. We are wired to love God. So that's the best thing and we enjoy doing that, like that. But we also have free will not to love him. So that's where the catch is. So then when it comes to mothers, the Shastras, Chanakya Pandit tells us that there are 7 kinds of mothers in this world. So Atma Mata, Guru Patni, Brahmani Raja Patnika, Dhenur Dhatri Tatha Prithvi, Sapteta Matra Smritaha. So he's saying, you remember always that there are 7 mothers that we have. So, translation, one's own mother, the wife of the Guru, the wife of a Brahmana, the wife of a king, the cow, the nurse, and the earth are known as the 7 mothers of a man. Okay. So let's go further and see. There are 7: real mother, wife of the spiritual master, wife of a Brahmana, wife of a king, the cow, the nurse, and the earth. Okay. So we must always remember these are the 7 that we have. So biological mother. Biological mother is the mother who is going to give birth through the biological means, right? And so there is this famous story, and which gets repeated in various cultures, right? And in the West also the same story is there. Back in India, the same story is there. It's just that the players are different. So it's the story of a king, and he was very well known for making right decisions. Right? And it's something amazing to have a king like that, who's always making the right decisions. Now, nowadays, it's Kali Yuga. We can't say that about our kings or the heads. So he was very, very famous for making the right decisions. And then one day, 2 mothers come to him. And then they are fighting over a boy. And both of them are saying, this is my son. Those are saying, this is my son. Now, in those days, there was no RNA, DNA testing and all that. You had to rely on the king to get the right answer. So the king just thinks about it, doesn't know. So he says, okay, come back again later. So then the next day they again come, and meantime the king has thought of an answer. So king says, that's fine, you know. It's very difficult to tell which one is the right mother. So what I'm going to give the ruling is that you cut the child into 2 halves, like that, and each of you can have a half. And then one of them said, yes, I'll take it. I'll take the half. The other one vehemently denied, and she said, no, let the other one take it. So now king said, this one is the real mother, right? So that's mother, the biological mom. Then the wife of the spiritual master is also considered to be the mother. And when Krishna and Balram were studying from their teacher, what was the name of the teacher? Sandipan Muni, right? So when they were learning from Sandipan Muni's wife was very, very affectionate towards Krishna and Balram and any other kids that were there. Then as a mother, we also, if there is a Brahmana and the Brahmana has a wife, we also consider the wives of the Brahmana to be a mother as well. And so there's a pastime that we read in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where there are some Smarta Brahmanas. Smarta Brahmanas are Brahmanas who just believe in following the rituals. They just do the rituals without understanding why they're doing that. And they were doing some very elaborate yajna to satisfy and please the demigods. And so Krishna and Balram and all the kids were playing in the forest, and all the kids went to Krishna and said, Krishna, we are hungry. They were very habitual of doing that, always. And so they go there and they say that we are hungry. So Krishna then says, okay, you know what, a little away from here, there are these brahmanas and the wives are there. So they are preparing for a big yajna. And every yajna, there's going to be a big feast. So there is some food there. You go and ask them for food. So the kids go there and they ask the brahmanas for the food. And the brahmanas just scold them left, right, and center. They said, can't you see here? We're going to do a yajna. How can we give you the food before it has been offered? So the kids are crestfallen, they come back. So this time then the Krishna tells them to go to the wives of the Brahmanas and ask for the food again. Now the wives of the Brahmanas know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when the kids come and ask them for the food, they immediately give them the food. That has not been even offered. Because they're saying, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself is asking for food, you'll give it to him, right? Right now we give the food to the deities. So they give the food to them. So it just shows that, when there is a Brahmana as well, So Krishna is also doing that pastime. Like when you're hungry, kids will go to the mom, right? Mom, I'm hungry. I want this, right? I know that when I was young, I had this very nice communication protocol with my mom. Like, Mom, I'm hungry. 3 o'clock in the afternoon after lunch. I'm like, Mom, I'm hungry. So she'll say, okay, there's some rice and dal, eat it. I was like, no, my hunger, I had different grades of hunger. So like, this is like kheer hunger, or like these days you would say it's a pizza hunger. So I won't have, dal, rice and pizza hunger. So you go to your mom. So that's why Krishna also went here, said go to the mom, the Brahmana moms, and ask them for food there. Then wife of the king is also considered to be the mother. Right? Like that. So Ram and Sita, we always talk about Sita as Sita Maya, right? Sita as a mom, Sita Maya. So that's another kind of a mother. And then there is the mother cow. So there is no limit. There's no limit to how much I can glorify the cow. Right? I'll need another session to talk about mother cow, just the mother cow itself, right? And it is said that, of course, the cow gives milk. And it's an amazing machine that nowhere else, and nobody has produced that machine. And I don't think so they'll be able to produce a machine like that where you feed grass from one end and milk comes out from the other end, right? It's just amazing. And not only, if you stay with cows and you serve cows, not only do you overcome diseases that you have, right? Just having a cow in the house itself brings in a lot of auspiciousness. And it is even said that when the child in the house is sick, the cow can understand that the child is sick, and it will produce a special kind of milk which will cure the child. So that's amazing, and this cow is constantly giving, right? So cow is also another type of a mother. And then of course we have Mother Bhumi, right? So Bhumi is also our mother. And what do we do to this mother? And what are we doing to this mother? We walk on the mother, right? So that's why the first thing that we should do when we get up in the morning and get out of the bed, because we're going to step on our mother. So we should always beg forgiveness, right? There's a short prayer that we can chant to beg forgiveness of Mother Bhumi that we are stepping on her. And so many times and so many places in the scriptures we read about that mother, when we do sinful activities, like when the demons used to do sinful activities and walk on Mother Earth, she used to feel a lot of burden. And it was Mother Earth, she was feeling burdened of all these impious kings, that she went crying to Brahma, saying, I need some protection. And Brahma with the demigods went to Vishnu, and then Krishna comes here to protect. Paritranaya sadhunam vishnashaya cha dushkritam. So Krishna comes there. So Mother Bhumi, and apart, of course, we also know that she will give us food, right? All the grains come from earth if earth is not there. But what are we doing? We are polluting everything which is there on Mother Bhumi, right? Then there is the mother nurse, right? One who nurses is also the mother. It was very common thing in the previous ages for ladies to nurse children who were not their own children. They used to do that. It was quite common, especially when the families were joint families. Then, maybe one or two daughters-in-law were, had children, so they would, feed this one or feed that one. It was a very common thing for them to do that. Regarding mother nurse, there is an interesting pastime that is indicated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and that is of Putana. She was the female she-demon who came to kill Krishna. And so she comes dressed as a very beautiful lady, and the people of Vrindavan were so innocent. They just thought that she's such a beautiful lady, she must be some demigod, some demigoddess. So they allow her to come into their home. And now these demons, they have got these powers that they can change their shape and size. And so Putana came dressed as a very beautiful lady, and she enters into the innermost rooms of the place where Krishna used to live, and Nand Maharaj's home. And she goes there, and then she came with poison smeared on her breast, and she started feeding Krishna with the intention that she would be successful in killing Krishna. But Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Not only did he suck her milk, she also sucked out her life, and then she died. Right? Now, so we have heard the story till here, and then she dies, and we are happy. Okay, the demon is killed. But then, what happened to Putana after she died? And we would just think that she did such a heinous crime and heinous act of smearing her breast and fooling the innocent people of Vraja, and then trying to kill Krishna like that she would have gone to the worst kind of hell, a hellish planet. But that's not what happens. She gets promoted to the spiritual planet, and she becomes a nurse, and she partakes in the pastimes of Krishna as a nurse. Right? So this is very, very amazing. And in that act, Krishna is glorified a lot. So when we look at people and we look at a situation, or we are looking at the characteristic of a person, we have a tendency to look at the good and the bad in a person. And when we look at the good and the bad of a person, we have choices as to what we do with the good and what we do with the bad. Most of us, what we do is, there's good, we will ignore the good, we will focus on the bad. Some are slightly better, they will focus on the good, they will glorify the good. And they will talk a little bit about the bad also. Then there are those who are even better than those, those who will just ignore the bad and then focus on the good, and focus on the good and glorify the good. Right? So much so that Krishna decided to focus only on one act of, she did so many acts, right? Krishna decided to focus only on one act of Putana, and that was that she had fed milk to him. So if you feed milk to somebody, you become a mother, so you become a nurse. So she became a nurse to Krishna, and Krishna gave her not only liberation, but the super liberation, that she went back to the spiritual planets with him. So, praising this act of Krishna, Uddhav says to Vidura, Aho bakiyam, you can sing with me. Aho bakiyam stanakalakutam jigham sayapaya yad asadhavi lebhe gatim dhatri uchitam tatonyam kam va dayalum sharanam vrajema. So what does it mean? Anybody would like to read that? Somebody with the microphone? The translation?
Yeah. Alas, how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he who granted the position of mother to a she-demon, Putana, although she was unfaithful and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breast.
Right? So if Krishna is so merciful that, he didn't just saw the good in Krishna, and now we are so full of bad, or at least I am. So if I find somebody who's going to focus on my good, why should I not take the shelter of that person? Right? So that's the mood in which Sri Uddhava is speaking. So we talked about mothers, right? But there's another, so there's 7 types of mothers, but there is another type which is known as a stepmother. Okay? So let's look at some of the stepmothers in the Shastra. Any stepmother comes to your mind? See that on the microphone? We had a...
No, I thought about the bad ones. I should know.
You can talk about the bad ones. Give us the bad one.
I'm forgetting the names. Dhruva's mom.
Dhruva's mom, stepmom, yes. And what does Dhruva's stepmom do?
Suniti and Suruchi.
Suruchi and Suniti, yeah. Suruchi was the bad one.
Yeah.
Suniti was the good one, yeah.
Yeah, when Dhruva sits on his father's lap, she tells him, you're not eligible to sit there. You have to take birth from my womb to, get that, right to sit on.
So what does it mean when somebody says you have to take birth in my womb? What is they implying?
That I have to be your biological mother.
You have to die.
Die.
Yeah, you have to die, and then I have to be a biological mother. So what's about the service? That was, there, right? And how does Dhruva Maharaj feel about it?
He was very, very insulted, and he felt very bad. Yeah.
He feels insulted, yeah. So that's what stepmothers are quite capable of doing. Any other stepmothers?
Kaikeyi.
Kaikeyi is a stepmother. Fantastic. So let's look at Kaikeyi. So what did Kaikeyi do?
he, because of bad association, she asked, she was the reason Rama went to forest for 14 years, and she wants her own son to become king.
She wants her own son Bharat to become the king, right? And so what was the bad influence?
The maid.
The maid?
Mantra.
Manthara was the maid?
Yes.
Okay. And so otherwise Keke was very loving to Lord Ram, right? She used to love Ram even more than she loved her own son Bharat, right? But a few hours with Manthara, a few hours of bad association, and you see the complete opposite. She goes to the other end of the spectrum and starts demanding that her son be made the king. And not only that, she also made sure that Ram would be just completely removed from the scene by sending him off to the forest for 14 years. So that's what a bad mother-in-law stepmother will do. But then there are some instances of good stepmothers also. And when Krishna enters into Dwarka, right after he has spent the time here with the Pandavas, Mahabharata is over, he's going back. So this is from the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So he says that Lord Krishna's, which is called Lord Krishna's entrance into Dwarka. So Lord Krishna, when all the mothers come out to meet him, and Lord Krishna does not distinguish between the stepmothers and the real mothers. And the same thing was there actually with Bharat also, right? Bharat was respectful of all his mothers. There were 4 mothers that he had. Now, this is a very interesting thing, right? Prabhupada mentions in the purport here, he says that why am I supposed to honor or respect my stepmother? After all, she's my stepmother, right? So he says, look at the connection that Prabhupada is making. He says that the stepmother is the wife of the father, right? And the father is a spiritual master. And one of the types of mothers was wife of the spiritual master, right? So you should respect the stepmother also. Okay? Then what about surrogate mothers, right? Nowadays it's a fashion. A lot of surrogate mothers are there. Which surrogate mother do you think is this one? Answers on the microphone. Rohini, correct, right? So back to Devaki and her imprisonments and all the guards standing outside and ready to kill any child that is born. And so Rohini comes to meet when she's pregnant, when Devaki is pregnant with Balram. She's very, very scared that Krishna is going to kill. And not Krishna, Kamsa is going to come and kill Balram. And so Rohini goes there to meet her, to pacify her. And then they transfer the fetus from Devaki's womb to Rohini's womb. And she takes care of that, and that's how Balram is born there. So there are surrogate mothers as well, right? Then we have the non-mothers, actually the mothers, who do not perform the duty of a mother. So what are the duties of a mother? Endless, listless, infinite, right? So the example we find is the cuckoo, the bird cuckoo, right? So birds lay eggs, right? And then they sit on it, and then they hatch. And the mother sits on the eggs, and they hatch the eggs. Now the cuckoo doesn't do that. What cuckoo does is that it goes and lays its eggs in the nest of a crow. And the crow doesn't know, the female crow doesn't know, all eggs look the same. Or even if they look the same, they can't distinguish. So the mother crow will sit on the eggs, they will hatch, and both are black. So they look also similar. And then it's only a little later that when the mom realizes, that the mother crow realizes that this is not my child, then it will push the small cuckoolet, I don't know what they call, but out of the nest. And as soon as she pushes out of the nest, the child has become big enough to be able to fly off. So it'll fly off like that. So I just brought in this concept of a non-mom, and that is, it is your duty and you make others do it. Right? That's a non-mom. So we have to be careful not to do that. Right? Sometimes kids will do, like they have the kids and then they will say, okay, now I don't want to, this child has come and now I have to cut short on all the fun activities that I used to do. So they'll say, Mom, please come. Or Mom, I'm going on a vacation. Please take care of the child. And once or twice the mom will take care, right? But then we have to learn, mothers and fathers as well, have to learn to take the responsibility on their heads and not become a cuckoo and expect others to take care of their kids. Then on one end we have the non-mothers, on the other hand we have some unconventional mothers, right? Unconventional mothers, you're not supposed to take care of the child, but still you will do it, right? For example, this. Now dogs and cats, what's the relationship between dogs and cats? They're friends? No, right? And look at this. Right? Look at this. Non-mom. Then, similarly here, cow. You know, I'd seen pictures of, cow and kittens sucking milk from the cow, and cow is happily giving milk to the... I couldn't find that picture today. Then again, this is a non-mom. This is a famous picture from Srimad Bhagavatam. Anybody recognize this picture? As they say, you have to answer on a microphone because I can't hear here. As they say in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, they say the first thought that comes to your mind is usually the right one. Microphone, you have to use the microphone. I can't hear. Okay. Kapil Muni and Devahuti, correct, for 500 points, right? So why I'm saying that this is from mom-type behavior, but it's coming from a non-mom, is that actually Kapil Dev is the son of Devahuti, and it's the parents who are supposed to educate the children. But here it's Kapil Dev who's teaching his mom. And this is one of the things, non-conventional things that you find in Srimad Bhagavatam. Similarly, demons give birth to demons, but then Prahlad is born in the family of a demon. And again, Prahlad starts teaching his father. We heard such a nice discourse from Shivas Pandit Prabhu yesterday on what Prahlad was teaching his parents. Then a very unconventional way of looking at it, that Shastra can also be looked as your mom. Because what does your mom do? Your mom guides you, right? Your mom comforts you, and your mom teaches you, right? So have you ever gone to the Shastra to get comfort? Tell us about it. Anybody wants to tell on internet? How does the Shastra comfort you? In what situations can the Shastra comfort you? Okay, let's talk about some of the discomfort situations in life. What are some of the situations in life where we don't feel comfortable? Huh? You guys don't feel discomfort at all? I'm the only one?
I was thinking sometimes we may have questions in our mind, so Shastra can be a guide, it will tell us our answers.
It's just teaching you, correct?
And then, suppose we lose a loved one, so then if we go and read Bhagavad Gita for the first time, we understand what death means, how it's not the end of the person, of the soul. So it's like teaching us and comforting us.
Exactly right, yeah. Who was most uncomfortable in the Bhagavad Gita? Arjun, right? He was so uncomfortable. How do I kill my grandparents? How do I kill my teachers? And all this, so uncomfortable. And then one dose of Bhagavad Gita, and he picks up his Gandiva and fights like that, right? And then they also guide you. So when we are in doubt what to do, go open the Shastras, and they always tell you the right thing. And why does the Shastra tell you, why do we say Shastras tell us the right thing? Is because Krishna has spoken the Shastra. They're coming from the right source. Now, as kids, right, we're talking about mom and kids. So moms are always protecting their kids, trying to protect. They'll be telling, hey, don't go there, don't talk to a stranger. If the ice cream man comes, he can, don't go there unescorted. He can just take you away in your van. Like that, they will keep on telling you, because the mom has got intelligence. Kid might not be that intelligent to know what strangers can do to them, right? So the mothers are there always to protect them. So you can use your own intelligence also as your mom to guide you, to tell you about the risks which are there in your life. Otherwise, if you don't use your intelligence to guide your mind, then what's going to happen? Manorathena sthit dhavato bahi. That the mind is going to sit, make the soul sit on the chariot, and you will go to many places. For example, close your eyes and think about Jagannath Puri, Jagannath temple. Okay, where are you? In Jagannath Puri. Who has gone to Jagannath Puri? You are here. Who went to Jagannath Puri? Yes. The mind, right? Yeah, the mind went to Jagannath Puri. So mind can go very fast. How many miles away? Tens of thousands of miles away. You think of the moon, your mind is in the moon. So it goes very fast and it can carry you there as well. It can take you to any of the places, that you want. And so you need to have some intelligence on top of it. Right? And the good thing is that Bhagavad Gita 3:42, it says, come on with me. Indriyani paranyahur indrebhya paramam manaha manasastu parabuddhir yo buddhe paratastu saha. Okay, break time for me. Anybody wants to read the translation? Vicky, Mataji, you want to read? Okay, go ahead.
The working senses are superior to dull matter. Mind is higher than the senses. Intelligence is still higher than the mind. And he, the soul, is even higher than the intelligence.
Thank you so much, right? So working senses are superior to dull matter. What is dull matter? For example, this table is dull matter. The table is sitting here, cannot listen, cannot see, cannot do anything, right? But then the senses, I've got some senses. I can look at the table. I can judge the color, the size, the form. I can touch it, know the temperature of the table. I can break it. If I like, I can paint it like that. So the senses are superior than the dull matter. And above the senses is the mind. It's actually the mind that makes the senses work, right? And then above the senses above the mind is the intelligence. And the duty or the characteristic of intelligence, or the use that you put intelligence to, is to discriminate between good and bad. Because your senses are only going to gather the senses. For example, in this little glass, if there's alcohol, I can use my sense of smell and tell you, okay, there is something intoxicating there, right? And I can reach out my hand and I can pick it also. And my mind can tell, okay, let's go ahead and have some fun. It's Mother's Day, what is there? A little shot of wine, right? I'm a mom. So, but the intelligence can come in and discriminate and say, hey, this is not good. It's breaking the 4 regulative principles. Don't do that, right? But then above the intelligence is still the soul. So the final decision is still made by the soul. The intelligence has presented these two, and then the soul can then decide and say, nah, I still want to do it. So you gulp it down. Or, no, I won't do it. Let's throw it into the sink. Like that. Now, what happens is that when you make your decisions, those decisions or those algorithms are stored in our system, in our subtle body. And so when we repeatedly not listen to the intelligence algorithms start going bad and starts thinking the opposite. It says, okay, maybe I'm wrong in telling them. So next time, the intelligence will also tell you the first choice, have it. And the second choice will be not to have it. So the intelligence gets corrupted. That's why they say that buddhi bhrasht basically means that when the algorithms are gone bad for the intelligence, is not able to distinguish between good and the bad, right? So use your intelligence. If your mom is not around to tell you what is good and bad, your intelligence will tell you if you decide to listen to it. Then role reversal, right? So many of us, when we are carrying our child, we're like looking at our husband, it's like, you don't know what it means, right? Giving birth. Women have known to slap their husbands also because the pain is so intense, they don't know what they're doing. So the role reversal is sometimes like, I wish you know what it means to go through pregnancy. Here, the seahorses, actually, the male gets pregnant and male carries, the child. Sandpiper, the bird sandpiper, the bird will sit and hatch the eggs, the male bird and not the female. So sometimes there is a role rehearsal. The penguins, they imagine, how cold it is where penguins are, right? And they're trying to hatch an egg over there in the Antarctica. It's such a typical thing. So they hold the egg between their feet, because hardly anything grows there, right? They can't make a nest. So and it's the father who does that. The father penguin there. So there is, of course, nowadays we are seeing a lot of rehearsal. When I first came from India about 30 years ago, I went to a friend's place. So she had not returned from her office, but the husband was there. And the husband was chopping all the vegetables, and I was like, oh my goodness. And so I looked at him and I said, oh wow, you chopped the vegetables for your wife? And he said, American husband huna. I'm a husband in America, I have to do it. So the roles are definitely Kali Yuga. This is reversing, women also going out, they're working, so husbands have to do and take part in the chores. So duties of a mom, I'd asked about the duties of a mom. So what this picture is basically showing is there are two kids at the back. They're talking to the mom. It was Mother's Day. And they decided to give some rest to their mom. Like, for example, today my granddaughter made some breakfast for my daughter so that she could have breakfast in bed. And of course, we as Vaishnavas don't do that. We don't have breakfast in bed, but that's the concept of making sure that the mom doesn't have to work. So they said that, okay, mom, we just wanted you to take rest, so we got a few people to take care of the things that you do, and see how many they had to bring in to do what the mother does, right? So the duties of a mother are just endless, just goes on and on and on. So we should always be very sure that we offer gratitude to the mother, to our mothers. Right? And so we see the story of Krishna when he went to Sandipan Muni in Bhagavatam, and he was learning, he and his brother Balram was learning from Sandipan Muni. Sandipan Muni's wife is also their mother because she's the wife of the spiritual master, right? And they had lost their child. And Krishna goes and finds that child and brings it back, right? So that was Krishna's way of showing gratitude. So we also should always be on the lookout to show and express our gratitude. So to the world, like, if you look at a mother, it's just another mother, right? If you go to the maternity ward in a hospital, most of them are mothers. And the doctor might say, oh yeah, just another delivery, who cares about that, right? It's just another chore to perform. And so just another mother. So to the world, you are just another mother. But to the family, you are the world. And you see that, when the mom goes away, dies, or anything happens like that, unfortunate, then the family sometimes just breaks. And sometimes people say, okay, especially when there are daughters in the family and there's no mother to tell them, people just say, then, these are motherless daughters. They're very, very unfortunate because mother gives a lot of education to the daughter, especially there. So I would like somebody to read this very, very emotional piece on the microphone. Oh, wow. Yes, go for the mic. First tell us your name.
From the warmth of your laugh, I have the safest home on earth. From your hug to your kiss, I have felt the purest of love. From your soft slaps to teary prayers, I have seen the purest care. From my birth to death, you will always be my first love. I wish one day that I could tell you how much I love you. Mwah!
Very nice. Act before it is too late. Right? Sometimes in our life we get angry as we grow up, where I'm not talking to my mom, she said this, she does that, she's too interfering, all that stuff, just act. Today is a good day to start acting. And actually, the culture in India is that we didn't have a Mother's Day. Why? Because we respect our mother every day. Right? So kids would get up and go bow down before their mothers. There. So Srila Prabhupada says, so take care of these children. If you can make one child Krishna conscious, it's a great service. Krishna will be very pleased. And so sometimes, mothers come to me with newly born babies and they say, now I'm not able to do that, I'm not able to come to the temple, chanting is becoming difficult, what do I do? And I always tell them, that you have got an even bigger seva, and that is to bring up a child in Krishna consciousness. Because here, Rishabdev tells his sons, he's teaching his sons in Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, he says, Guru na sasyat, swajano na sasyat, Pita na sasyat, janani na sasyat, devam na natsyan, na patishcha chasyan, namo chayedya samupeta mrityum. And what does it mean? It says that one who cannot deliver his dependents from the path of repeated birth and death should never become a spiritual master, a father, a husband, a mother, or a worshipable demigod. So you understand that when we become parents, this is our duty, and the biggest duty is to deliver our children from this cycle of birth and death. So on this day, I'd like to offer my respects to my mom. This is my mom when she was young, and who took a lot of pain to inculcate some spiritual concepts into her mind, and I would not listen to her. I would do a little bit here and there, but not very seriously. But what I want to emphasize is that even as mothers, we should not give up hope, which I know she did not, and I know pretty sure that she prayed really hard. Because when I came across Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, the change was phenomenal, and it was at a super high speed, and it couldn't have been possible without somebody definitely praying for me. So, so we have to remember that even if our kids are not listening, you continue, you don't give up. Right? It works. And Srila Prabhupada, thank you, has been acting as mother for so many people, right? Srila Prabhupada, cooking, cooking for the American kids, samosas, gulab jamun. Do you think he was a sannyasi? He didn't have a need to eat samosa and gulab jamun. He was happy with his dal roti. But he did it for the kids over here, right? He had such a loving relationship. The kids around at that time during the movement, they just love, see now here he's giving a cookie to a small child there. Look at this, mother's touch, Sri Prabhupada. Now Krishna is a mother too. Krishna declares that in Bhagavad Gita. Pitaham asya jagata mata dhata pita mahaha vedyam pavitram omkara riksama yajurevacha. I am the father of the universe, the mother. I am the support and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier. Syllable Om, I am also the Vedas, Rig, Sama, the Jajur Vedas. Right? You sing that. See, as Garbhodakshay Vishnu, he looks so much like a mother, right? From his womb sprouts from his navel sprouts the lotus stem, and on top of the stem is the complete universe. And from there, he's sustaining, from the Garbhodakshay ocean, he's lying there and he's sustaining all the 14 universes in which we are a very small part of, like that, right? Now, one of the things I wanted to also mention regarding mothers is that when a child does even this much, something very small, a crude painting the child does, and the mother is so happy. She will go and tell, to the friends, to the neighbor, like, oh, look here, don't you see how nice Bobby does? And it might not be the best masterpiece, but to the mother's eye, that's the best thing. So the mothers are going to magnify the good things that the people do. And on the other hand, they're also going to ignore the bad things that they do. So we saw that in the case of, which one? Putana, exactly right? In the case of Putana, we saw they magnify, right? But here what they're saying is like, as parents, we're asking the child to do, okay, now you clean the room. Child is like, nah, mom, I won't do it. I'm busy with my game. And then mother keeps on saying that 5 times, 6 times, 7 times. Then mom will say, okay, fine, just do a little bit. Okay, only clear your decks today. How about that? And then evening, father comes home and then she'll say, oh, look, do you know what he did? He cleaned his decks, right? For a small thing, they're going to glorify and be very happy. And that's what Krishna says. Neha vikramo nasosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpam epiyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. That even if you do a little bit of devotional service, I will add it to your next life, as a credit to your next life. So he's acknowledging even a little piece that we did, that we do. Even if we chant the names of Krishna not in a serious mood, in a mode of making fun of Krishna, these Hare Krishnas, okay, say Hare Krishna again, like that, right? He counts all that as a little loving mom there. And then Krishna is a mother too. Like he says, Sardharman Paritajya. Like now mom says, child falls down like, Mommy, I fell her down. Mom says, come here, child, come here, sit on my lap. So that's what it is. Yeah, he sings, Sardharman Paritajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Aham swam sarva papebhyo mokshisyami masuchaha. He's saying, you forget everything, don't worry. I'm your mom. I'll take care of you. Just come. That. And then what we should do? You follow your mother. Right? You'll be safe. You follow your mother, you'll be safe. If you let go of your mom's hand and then run in another direction, you will be in an accident on the road. Right? So don't do that. So Krishna is so kind to his devotees that if you go to him, then the combined kindness of millions of mothers like me will be surpassed by his affectionate and tender dealings. So this is what Suniti said to Dhruv. When Suniti's stepmother insulted Dhruv Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj was crying, he was angry, mixed emotions over there. He goes to his mother, and the mother says, go to Krishna. You wanted the love of your father, and perhaps you also wanted the love of your stepmother, but go to Krishna, you'll get love 1,000,000 times, 1,000,000 times the love, you're going to get that. And then Krishna is a fair mother. Samoham sarva bhuteshu namo deshostina priya. Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya maitu teshu chapyaham. So I don't envy anybody, I'm partial to everyone. This is what happens in the home also. The mother is impartial, right? Impartial. And we might just think that, she has favorites there, we might think, right? Or she's more strict with me, more lenient with somebody else. But the mother knows the capability of each child, and she loves them and treats them accordingly there, right? Then Krishna is a mom, and then a better mom is Radharani. Right? And why? Because Krishna likes what Radharani does, and Krishna does what Radharani likes. Right? Sometimes we have done, right? We wanted something, we are too scared to ask the father. So what do? You go to the mother, and then mother will, in a better mood, go to approach the father and say that, do this thing for this child. So she does it. Now, when we talk about litter, right? The animals give birth to many, some of the animals give birth to many children at the same time. So what is runt of a litter? Can you make any guesses looking from the picture? There's a term that people use, right? A runt of the litter. So in a litter, when there are many puppies or babies are born, then sometimes one of them will be a little bit more weak than the others. As you can see, one is tiny. If they were born at the same time, they should be the same size. And which one do you think the mother loves the most? The runt, right? And it's not that she's being partial. She's just looking at the capabilities and giving extra attention to the one that really needs it. So Krishna is the mother, and Radharani is also a mother. And when they both combine and come as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the left-hand side on the altar there. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he takes care of the runt of the human litter, which is us, all of us, right? We are so fallen, and he comes and gives the mercy freely to all of us and gives us the holy name freely. Krishna Prem freely, right? Krishna Name Neche, Name Hate, right? We sing that all the time. And not only for human beings, but he does it for all of us, right? All of us means all of us, even for animals. Okay? And so there's Radharani, there's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then there is Krishna, and they're all moms. So how do you approach them? So you will approach them, they are on the altar. We will approach them by first serving. Who will you serve first? Krishna, Radharani, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or who else?
Your Guru.
Your Guru, good. And before the Guru, or together with the Guru? Anybody else you serve? Huh? Vaishnavas, exactly. You should be the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant, 1,000,000 times removed. Right? So, how about starting with the ISV supermom? So who is the ISV supermom? Nirakula Mataji, right? So let us use this fantastic day today, Mother's Day, and say a big Haribol shout out for Nirakula Mataji, who's not here today. She's in the East Coast. Haribol! So who can be a mom? Right? A mom seems like a very nice thing, right? Glamorous. Now, in this picture, who do you think is the mom? Right? This is a Sankeetan picture. Right? The one who's listening has got ice cream in the hand, and one who's teaching and showing the scriptures is a little boy. ISP, right? Anybody can become a mom there, right? So then there are so many moms, and we ask the question like Snow White sisters used to ask, stepsisters used to ask, mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of all? Who is the best mom? Right? So King Puranjan says in Srimad Bhagavatam that I do not understand why my household paraphernalia does not attract me as before. He was very much attached to his home and wife. I think that if there is neither a mother nor devoted wife at home, the home is like a chariot without wheels. Where is the fool who will sit down on such an unworkable chariot? So that's what he's saying, right? So, the real mata or the mother is actually devotional service to the Lord. That's the only thing that's going to save us. Because we might come and say, I'm living in a place where there's no Krishna. I'm into a family, I'm born into a family of demons. I got married into a family of demons. They don't believe in my husband tells me not to do this. My wife does not like my coming to the temple. But you can still do everything in your mind. Right? I don't have a mom. My mom passed away. I don't have a spiritual master like that. Well, your devotional service will become your mom. Because through the devotional service, you'll get nice connection to all the possible mothers that you can have. Otherwise, if a mom is not taking you and leading you to devotional service, she's not a mata, she's actually maya. Because she's going to pull you into this material world. So we have to understand that as we are here in this ISKCON movement, and we want to progress this movement and expand this movement. Then how do I expand this movement? Well, I distribute books, and I have classes, and I force people to read, and I ask them that you're no good if you don't pass the Bhakti Shastri or this and that. I can do that, and I tell them 4 regulative principles, do it. They're so difficult, right? So those can be very, very stern and very, very difficult things for people to do, right? But for us to sustain this movement, we have to bring out our nurturing nature. We have to bring out the mom in us, right? So let's just do that. Let's just be nurturing. And this is what Vaishyachiga Prabhu is doing. He's being the mom, and I have watched it. This is from many years ago, this picture. And now these amazing kids have become, fantastic youth. And you can see him focusing so much on the youth because the future of the movement depends on the youth. And he's being the perfect mom and taking care of the kids. I know on Sundays he starts really early. The call starts and meeting starts from 6 a.m. And then here the youth jam starts at 7 p.m. It's rock solid, not non-stop. And he spends 2 hours at least there. Right? So that's to keep the momentum going for this particular moment. So a man's work is from sun to sun, but a mother's work is never done. Right? We have that experienced that feeling. So happy birthday and happy Mother's Day to all of you. Thank you. I'll stop here and take some reflections or questions that you have. Okay, Shamlangi has a reflection or a question.
No, I was just trying to remember a good stepmother in the Shastra, and I was remembering Kunti, because she took care of Madri's sons like her own children and give them.
Yes, very nice citation. Yes, thank you. Yes, go ahead. Archana.
Hare Krishna, dear Shraddha Mataji. Thank you so much for the enlightening lecture today, and that too on the special day of Mother's Day. So thank you so much, Mataji. I don't have any words to say right now, but I just want to offer my sincere gratitude to you, Mataji, because you know why I'm saying that. Whatever I have learned about Krishna, Radharani, everything comes out from you. So thank you so much for everything, Ma.
Thank you, and I'll send it back to Srila Prabhupada because his book transformed my life. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
regarding to today's lecture, you brought up very important points. The two takeaways from this lecture is number one, the real Mata is devotional service to the Supreme Lord, and the primary duty of a mom is, I mean, her duties are endless, as you mentioned, but what first and foremost is to, make her kid, go towards Krishna. So that's the main, takeaway. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for doing that. I see you taking such good care of your daughter, bringing her there. If there are no other questions, oh, there's one hand there. Okay.
Thank you so much for sharing, so much insight for Mother's Day. I'm noticing some conflict, internal conflict, where you said like the mother's first job is to make the child, Krishna conscious. But if a mother does not do her own practice, how can she lead the child to more Krishna consciousness? So I'm feeling torn about that.
When I say the first job is to bring the child in Krishna consciousness, it is with reference to the other duties that the mother has for the child. Right? That she might want the child to be put into the best school, to be given the best food, like that, right? Among all those duties, the first and foremost duty is to bring up a child in Krishna consciousness. Because we can make sure the child goes to Yale, to Stanford, to Berkeley, but we don't give them spiritual knowledge at all, right? Of course, now when it comes to ourselves, what are our duties? Devotional service is my mom, right? So we need to make care. So that the conflict is not there, it's just the way I had put the words there. Does that make sense? Okay, thank you. Any other questions or reflections? Okay, so there are a couple of minutes left till 5 o'clock. I think we can do a very short kirtan. I was hoping Adri Raj will be here and he'll sing, but let's just do it together.
Krishna Mataji, can I ask?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, I forgot.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Varshana Mataji,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much. Thank you so much, Mataji, for such a deep lecture. And in fact, today I felt that I missed on so many duties while my children were growing up. But then you said the devotional service and the real devotional service is to bring others into Krishna consciousness. So I'll try my level best to preach and tell the people to come to Krishna consciousness. Thank you so much for such a wonderful lecture.
Yeah,
Hare Krishna.
thank you so much, Varshana Mataji. Yes, and one of the things that I would also like to add there is that like my mom, we can pray. Like my mom tried to give me spiritual knowledge, but I didn't accept it, at least on the face value of it. So the prayers do help. And the second is that when we become Krishna conscious, and adding on to your question, Mati, when we become Krishna consciousness, 20 generations before us and 20 generations after us will be put in a situation where those situations will be conducive for their devotional service. So, Varshana Mataji, even if you're having regrets, all that you have to do is to continue your devotional service, and then Krishna, being the other mom, will take care of that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, it's coming close to the Aarti time, so I will take your leave here. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
go to your pocket and this one will
Okay.
maybe tangle a little bit. Anyway, it should reach to your head. Yeah. Can I put it?
Is the right way? Here we go.
Yes. You
But
come to the
this,
middle.
where does that go?
You stay here.
Jaya Jaya Gora Chande Arotika Shobha. Janavi Tatavani Shivano Hare Chalamala Shiva Shukanarada Preme Radha Pakati Vinoda Deke Golara Shambhara Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotara Shutta Shri Srimad Bhai Charnar Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotara Shutta Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada Thakur Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Bensakaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga.
Please have a seat. We will have Narshing Aarti, and then we will have a brief announcement, and then we will head for Prasadam. Hare Krishna.
Namaste Narasingaya. Shiratam Kala Kalaye Vito Nishinha Parato Nishinha Gato Yato Yamisato Nishinha Nishinha Hridaye Nishinha Nishinha Madhin Sharanam Prapade Tava Kamara Nakham Adbhuta Srinna Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanodina Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bhagavan ki jai. Ki jai.
Can someone please turn on the lights in the back? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. We welcome you all to the Sunday Feast Festival here at ISKCON of Silicon Valley on a very special day of Mother's Day. So let's thank everyone who has joined us here. Hare 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 Bol. We also would like to thank all our online viewers as well. So let's give them a big round of applause. So today's discourse and Krishna Katha was brought to us by Her Grace Shraddha Mataji. So let's express our gratitude and thank her for an excellent discourse. Hari 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 Bol. Hari Bol. We'll also like to thank His Grace Mitra Sena Prabhu for leading an ecstatic Aarti and also a Narsimha Aarti. Hari 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 Bol. So hope you had a very good Mother's Day. We express our gratitude and thank all the mothers because they do the selfless service. So today at ISKCON of Silicon Valley, we had a small event to express our appreciation and thank, and we'd like to invite Nitya Tarangini Mataji and Sri Priya Mataji to tell us about the program and what, we'll hear more from them. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. If you have noticed all the sparkly curtains that are outside on the tent, that's the result of Hansapriya Mataji trying to show her love to all the ISV mothers here. She organized an amazing way to show her love to all the mothers here. As mothers, we also like to pamper, get pampered, and she did it in a perfect way. We had fun games. We did musical chairs, and we had manicure. We also had amazing prasadam, and we had a playful competition between us. Those are the curtains that we did as part of that competition, and we had fun, a lot of fun along the way. So I would like to thank Hansapriya Mataji and the team who put a lot of effort. It's not easy to plan something like that after a big festival, and she did that because that's her mood, to serve everybody here. So I would like to thank her and all the amazing devotees who have been part of that effort.
We had a very great experience in the afternoon. Yesterday we had a very big festival, lot of devotees did, and today morning Hansapriya Mataji came up with this beautiful plan. This is the love and reciprocation we are getting from this ISV community, and we got pampered. Nowhere else we can find like this within our friends community or outside. I never experienced it like this. We are very grateful for this community. Thank you all. Hare Krishna.
Anyone coming here for the first time? I see a lot of new faces. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, if you have any questions and if we could be of any assistance, please reach out to me. My name is Shri Gopal Das. We would be happy to help you in any way we can. We have a reception booth there. You can scan. There are QR codes. You can scan to get our weekly updates. We send once a week email about the upcoming events. And also we have a WhatsApp channel. Please subscribe to that. You will be notified about the upcoming events. So having said that, the next week is a very exciting week. We have sadhus visiting us to ISV. So we have His Grace Radhe Shyam Prabhu, who is visiting us from Pune. So he will be having youth programs. So if your kids want to join the youth program, please reach out to, I think I don't see Sukeshwari Mataji, but you can reach out to me. I will help you connect you with her. And then we have His Holiness Romapad Swami Maharaj, who is visiting us, and he will be giving discourse on Saturday morning. So mark your calendars. So His Holiness Romapad Swami Maharaj on Saturday. And then we have His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, who is visiting us. He will be giving discourse on Sunday. I think the details will be followed soon, but he is visiting area and he will probably give a discourse on Sunday. So please watch out for the email for more details. Hare Krishna. If anyone wants to sponsor tonight Sunday feast, please reach out to me. If not, so we will have Mahi will announce today's cooks.
Hare Krishna. So the today's cooks are Sham Bhakta Das Prabhu, Hitesh Prabhu, Devyanda Das, Suraj Prabhu, Prem Prabhu, Ajit Arjun Das, Malaya Prabhu, Krishangi Mataji, Meghavi Mataji, and Sudevi Mataji.
So now we will go to Prasad Sevya prayers. Geetavali, Haribol.
शरीरा विद्याचा जोरे दिया दाहेगा जीवे तेरे विषय सगोरे कर्मते जीवायति दोमसुदुर्मति ताके जितायति संसारे Krishna Bharabhuyamo Hari Marivaja Sarvasarana Nirabha Sayanamrita Pao Shri Shri Radha Krishna Purnadao Premena Shri Chaitanya Nita Premena Shri Chaitanya Nita Mahaprasade Govinde Namo Brahmane Vaishnave Sarvapunyavadanyate Krishna Samadhajayate Prasade Sarvadukkhana Aniraso Gajayate Aste Loke Soyasu Suripaya Vikusyate Kayuka Shadgana Asulakara Jajita